In your column, as I always am on a Sunday in the Mail on Sunday yesterday, not least in the piece you wrote about the shortage of beds in the NHS and the crisis in the NHS, which turned out to be a piece that you were quoting from not this year, but another year. And also looking back over the course of the last, I mean, for as long as I can remember, really, ever since I've been in journalism, there's always been a crisis in the NHS every winter.
Well, I could read. I mean, I can. The great advantage of newspaper journalism is we have access to the past. It's, for everyone else, it's a bit like 1984. The past has been abolished.
Yeah.
Here, listen to this. This week it emerged that the NHS is facing the most intense strain on its resources in decades. And in Portsmouth yesterday, a hospital said it would investigate after an 88-year-old woman died following a 7-hour wait for a bed. And where's that from? The Guardian, the 6th of January, 2018. And then I have from I think the Daily Mirror of the same period, a Labour MP has released pictures of hospital patients lying on the floor as they wait to be treated. These things happen with appalling frequency, not quite every year, but in many years. And the pretense that what we face this year is exceptional seems to me to be dangerous. There is one big difference between this year and others, which is important, which is that because of the fear and panic over COVID-19, quite large numbers of NHS staff are not able to come in because it would break the COVID rules for them to do so. So the number of staff is significantly reduced. This may also be the reason why the much trumpeted Nightingale hospitals have never really swung into operation, because they don't have the staff to keep going. But it's a self-constructed crisis. It's worse than others, not because it's physically worse, but because it's technically and politically worse. And I think simply getting this into proportion is part of the job of my trade. It's very easy to do. All you need to do is look it up. It took me about a minute and a half to find the cuttings which I just read from and the one I quoted from in the paper on Sunday. And why don't other people do it? It's all there. And why don't they draw conclusions from it? Because they don't want to. And here again,
we deny the existence of COVID, not because we think there's any danger that it's a hoax, not because we don't believe that people are getting sick, and not because we don't believe that people are dying, because they are. But what they don't tell us is more interesting than what they do tell us. For example, the Sunday Express this week put a Freedom of Information request into NHS England, who then revealed that there are 13,000 fewer beds in this country in our hospitals than there were last year, because they've made them socially distanced, right? So when they say that the hospitals are filling up and the beds are filling up, it's because there are fewer of them.
Again, it's a very good piece of journalism for which the reporter involved deserves a lot of credit, and it's absolutely right. Again, and just as with the shortage of staff created by the
Please call for a halt, if we can do anything this year, to the almost ridiculous hysteria over the occupation of ICU beds. The Sunday Times again this week did a great public service. They got from NHS England the entire list of hospital ICU bed occupation by percentage for every single hospital. Now, the first, I would say, kind of 4 pages out of 14, yes, the numbers are up in the 90% area, right? But once you get below 50% of them, so like from this page 7 to 14, you get places like Stockport NHS Foundation Trust, average number of ICU beds 13, percentage full 68. You get to somewhere like Sheffield Teaching Hospitals, NHS Foundation Trust, 118 ICU beds, 63% occupied. These are not figures that suggest to me that they're being overwhelmed.
Yeah, I did a Post and NBC and so on, got in first.
Yeah,
journalists, what they want is to get on TV. So if they get a question, that's it. That's their job done. But they can't ask a follow-up, and their colleagues will never follow up the question of a previous person. The only way to get anywhere with press conferences is ones where expert journalists are allowed to press home their questions over and over again, do supplementaries, which very rarely happens. And unless that happens, it won't be any use. There's also the simple fact that ever since the age of Alistair Campbell, almost all political lobby journalists live in a kind of harem,
yes,
where their freedom to operate ultimately depends on their good relations with the government of the day.
No,
so you can work out how that's going to affect coverage.